I really enjoy teaching at St Andrew's. It's very different from my last job where I taught in a sixth form college with 300 A and AS level students. But the quality of the students is still as good, and so it makes for teaching art very exciting. It also complements my other jobs, which is I work as an examiner and a moderator for different examining boards, and I've always done my own painting, and obviously that's really important. That's my research, so that I can help the students as well with their work. And I think what I really like about St Andrews is that obviously they're small classes, so you can really get to know the students, and also you really feel that you can help them, because obviously they have to go a long way in a very short time. But the other thing is that because they're all coming from different countries and different cultures, they're all bringing such different things to the department that we can all share, and also it means that you've got a very different starting point with each student for them to take off in their own way. The sort of students really that we're looking for, obviously it's great if they're talented, and many of them are. Some students are talented, but they really, because of their sort of formal schooling, they haven't done any art or not much art. So I think the main thing we're looking for is commitment and passion for the subject, because as I mentioned before, particularly the foundation students, it's a one-year course, and in fact they're applying for university just after the first term really. So they've got to do a lot in a short time, so they've got to be prepared to work very hard, not only in the lessons but also outside the lessons, sometimes on set work, but also taking the initiative once we get them started and pursuing their own interests as well, because all that is going to go into a portfolio which is going to get them into a university. The foundation course, it's the same for all students, whether they're doing a more art-related course like fashion or painting or sculpture or interior design, but it's also very suitable for architecture students, as I'll explain in a moment. So all students, when they come, we do a kind of induction course, which is partly working from direct observation on the kind of formal elements of art, but also experimenting with different materials, just to give them a bit of confidence and see, and really have fun, and start to enjoy the subject. But then we go into 4 distinct areas, which the students all do: painting and mixed media, photography, textiles and sculpture, and related 3D studies. And in fact the painting and mixed media could even go into printmaking and graphics later on, depending on the student's interest. And obviously within textiles that could develop into fashion as well, if that was the student's interest. As well as that, all students do 1 lesson a week of life drawing, which is working from the living model, which is a brilliant discipline because it makes your observational skills so strong. But also if you're a painter or sculptor, you're working with a human figure, you've got to know the proportions of the human figure, even if you want to exaggerate them. And equally, if you're a budding architect, I always say to them, you've got to understand the proportions of the human figure if you're going to design buildings for them. So as well as that, all students do what we call a self-directed project. Now, when I say self-directed, I don't mean we just push them out and they do their own thing. Of course we give them lots of help, but the idea is that they're doing it on their own, but it's monitored by their tutor. At the moment that's me. So I will see the students weekly to see how they're getting on, and of course at the beginning we'll work out together what they're going to do. Now it's got to be something which relates to what they want to do at university, because then it's going to be a really strong bit of their portfolio. So if it's architecture, then a student is going to probably do something like choosing to design a building, maybe just a small structure, but it will have a very definite function. But equally important, it's got to be in a really definite place, probably in Cambridge, because that's where we are, so that the student can do a site survey of the site to work out how it's going to fit in. And that's really important, because when they send their work off for portfolio and interviews, if they can show that they've done the site survey, as all architects have to do, then that obviously puts them ahead of maybe other students that have never done that. But obviously we want the piece to be creative. If it's a student who's doing fashion, then they could well maybe design a collection on a certain theme, and then aim maybe to make one of the pieces or two which can be modelled either by real people and photographed, or could even be, we've done in the past where we've done them on dolls, just to show how the collection is working. The other thing that all students do, that's a practical project. The other one is what we call a personal study, which is a more written project. It's a piece of original research, but again linking to the area that you want to study when you leave St Andrews. So again, if it's architecture, we would encourage the student maybe to do a piece of research maybe about buildings in Cambridge, so they can see the things firsthand. It might be looking at a particular architect or a particular style of architecture, or it might be contrasting two styles. But the important thing is, where possible, they're seeing the real thing. Of course they're going to make drawings of it, photograph it, make notes, and then gradually that will help them to write a proper piece of work that will be maybe 1,000 to 3,000 words long. Now, the foundation students, because they're doing so much work, we can actually neatly fit the same work into an A-level art as well, including the personal study. So in fact they get 2 qualifications for the price of 1, because they're getting the foundation course, and also they're getting a grade at A-level. I haven't really talked much about the A and AS course, but there obviously it's more limited. The students choose one area of study to do as coursework, and then they will do an exam piece. But the exam is really another project, because they'll have had from February to May to prepare for it, and so although it's done under exam conditions, they've got all the studies with them, all the preparation they've done. So it's nothing to be feared. It should be the best piece of work they've ever done, and it's the same at AS level. The only difference at A level is all the students do that written personal study that I've just talked about. What do our students do after they've been with us? Well, of course, they've come here to get onto a university course, and that's our aim. And the way we structure that is that there's an art fair about November time that we encourage all our students to go on in London. And it's a one-day event, but the brilliant thing about it is it's in one place. So there's potentially 150 courses there or more, and the students obviously have to be very organised. They'll probably visit about 6 stalls to talk to various members of those departments to see which universities will be best for them to apply for. Obviously we give them lots of help with the actual application and the different places where our students have been successful in the past. We'll encourage you, if they come up, to go on open days, because we always say to students, this is a 3-year course. Not only have you got to be happy on the course, you've got to be happy in the place that you're living, and so that's really important. And I think it's important that the students find the place that they feel is going to work best for them. Obviously we can advise them, and they can have maybe knowledge of which are the top universities, but the great thing in the end is what's going to suit you best, and when are you going to flourish, and how are you going to flourish. Thank you.